Think about how much plastic you use every day, starting from when you wake up to the time you go to bed. From your toothbrush to the plastic bags in your lunch. Now multiply the amount of plastic you are using each day to 7 days a week. Now 365 days. Now 79 years, which is the average American lifespan. On average, every American throws away approximately 185 pounds of plastic per year. That's over 14,615 pounds of plastic alone in your life, and most of it is not recyclable.
But where is all the plastic waste ending up once we are done using it and have no more use for it ever again? Sadly, the answer is in the ocean. An estimated 14 billion pounds of trash, with most being plastic, is dumped into the world's oceans every year.
In just the Los Angeles area alone, 10 metric tons of plastic fragments, like grocery bags and soda bottles, are carried into the Pacific Ocean every day, creating growing problems such as the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, a 9-foot-deep island of floating trash twice the size of Texas. The extreme amount of waste we are producing is not only a threat to the marine environment, but also the health of humans and animals alike.
Last year alone, around 7 million metric tons of plastic entered the ocean from land. At the same time, Americans used 50 billion plastic water bottles in 2015. Just one plastic water bottle takes over 450 years to decompose. In small amounts, plastic water bottles may be useful. They hold liquids and protect our drinks from possible outside contamination. They are also almost indestructible, preventing glass cuts and injuries that glass could when dropped. But at the same time, this innovative form of water transportation can be the same thing killing our planet and our marine life. The amount of plastic is only going to increase as the population does. The best thing we can do is to encourage people to invest in a reusable water bottle, and when they do buy one-use bottles, to reuse the bottle as much as they can.
Freighter Foundation was started by just some people who like to surf, and they started finding plastic when they were surfing, and they got really mad about that, so they decided to do something about it, and they basically raise awareness and money, and they just try to work to clean up the beaches a lot with the Quality of Life Commission in San Anselmo, working on the straw project, trying to reduce plastic straws in San Anselmo. That has been really cool, and it's been interesting to get response from people, and minimal response actually from restaurants, because they're just not that interested.
One of the largest problems coming from plastic pollution in our oceans is the effect it has on marine animals. Just off the northeast U.S. coast, there are over 46,000 pieces of plastic floating in each square mile of ocean. Toxins brought into the waters from these plastic particles often lead to the cause of illnesses. The high levels of man-made chemicals in marine mammals has led to mass die-offs, as plastic contributes to the death of 100,000 animals each year. One example of debris is fishing line, which takes over 600 years to decompose. Debris uses oxygen as it degrades, causing oxygen levels to go down and lowering chances of long-term survival. It is very common for ocean mammals to become entangled in old nets while swimming. Birds, turtles, and fish ingest small pieces of plastic items, mistaking them for food. And turtles often accidentally eat plastic bags on the shore when thinking they are jellyfish. Hundreds of thousands of animals are becoming sick and dying, all because of the waste we are causing, not them.
In 1972, Sweden hosted the very first UN Conference on the Environment. Sweden focuses on long-term energy efficiency and a greater supply of renewable energy. What really sets them apart is the amount of citizen engagement. They placed policies that have just 1% of solid waste going into landfills. 99% of the waste is recycled or used to produce biogas, which is an oxygen replacement. Since 2005, Sweden has prohibited the selling of plastic drink bottles that are not approved by the recycling program. By only producing plastic that can be recycled and reused, Sweden has begun to pave the way for a new wave of innovative techniques to cut down on the use of plastic and make a green footprint on the earth.
Just assume and use an excuse to continue using plastic, but I think a lot of it is just pure laziness to continue using it in a lot of different circumstances. So I would just advise people to just actually think about the tiny little impact that they are going to make on a daily basis with their plastic usage. It's not just this blue mass of water, there's life, and the ocean's such a huge part towards actually making our lives possible, and I think a lot of people don't realize that.
Today, tomorrow, next month, or next year is not going to be when we give up on our ocean. There are always ways to make it better. Many of these ways are improving our lifestyles and habits with very simple changes. If people were able to think of the alternate of many things they are doing in their life right now, the ocean would be cleaner. Most everyone is so unaware of the condition of the ocean right now. What most people are unaware about is the fact that even when you open a bag of chips, you're never going to use that bag for anything again. Even if that plastic doesn't end up in the ocean, it still is going to take 500 to 1,000 years to disintegrate. The most important action we need to take for the ocean right now is letting people know the effects and just sending out awareness. The next step is taking action, volunteering, and donating and attending events.
So one of the things that we have to think about is that pollution, and particularly plastics, is not a exclusive first world problem. It's a problem all over the world. And while we have a lot of initiatives and discussions and efforts to reduce plastic waste and plastic consumption here in the U.S., it is a much bigger problem in the third world. And they don't have the same concern for the environment, and they don't have the same, in many cases, concern for just managing trash that we have here. And so consequently, I observed plastic everywhere, literally everywhere, in Cambodia particularly, on the sides of the road, on the beach, in the river.
Our oceans are in trouble and they need our help. Cleaning up all we have made is near impossible without the help of everyone. Pollution affects everything in our world, and although pollution is inevitable, it's the world's responsibility to be the solution and not the problem. Can you see the truth?